Guys, I'm constantly on the go. Traveling, training, always grinding. And that's why I use Mando Whole Body Deodorant. It is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body, and it's the perfect deodorant for people on the move. Mando was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Mando is clinically proven to block odor all day and prevent odor for up to 72 hours. My favorite part about Mando is how versatile it is. Use it on your pits, your feet, or anywhere else you stink. You can choose from a variety of fresh scents, like bourbon leather, clover woods, or my favorite, Mount Fuji. There's a solid deodorant stick formulated with mandelic acid and an aluminum-free spray deodorant, which is ideal for hard-to-reach places. Oh, by the way, all products are paraben-free and baking soda-free. Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, plus free shipping. As a special offer to my listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with my exclusive code CHAEL. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Guys, real simple. Click on the link below. When you get to checkout, just tell them that Chael sent you.
All right, I'm a little bit torn. I need you guys to help me out. So, Gene Silva. Oh, I'm following somebody on Twitter. How did that happen? Home of the Fight. All right, going to my own Twitter page here. Now, Gene Silva has made, we call him John. He spells it Gene, but we call him John, right? Jon Silva made a very good case for himself. Just as an athlete that's over, just as an athlete that can rise to the occasion, just as an athlete that can do a little bit of everything, Jon Silva showed himself to have championship qualities and championship potential. And that was questioned a little bit. I mean, I do remember going into the fight, there was a real stigma that this was a classic match of striker versus grappler. That if Silva could keep it standing up, but of course I'm talking about against Bryce Mitchell, then he was going to be all right. But if Bryce got him to the ground, so Silva winning that contest, and most importantly, doing it by submission. At a minimum, in theory, beating Bryce at his own game. He showed championship quality, right? So, he's called for a title shot. Now, I like it. I like it largely because I'm so disgusted with 145 pounds. Largely. I never liked the treatment that Aljo got as a former champion coming into the division. I never liked that the division was so watered down that their champion could leave and nobody cared. I never liked that the champion could leave, and so we went and found 2 guys to fight for a title, which probably should have been interim, and they ended up headlining a card, and neither one of them even made the case. I mean, the whole thing was just strange. So, at the absolute last moment, Yair Rodriguez comes in and says, hey, I got a deal, I'm fighting the winner. Now, whether it was the last moment, I mean, I'm talking about the 11th hour. Whether it happened at the 11th hour or not, Yair still did it. And he still did it before any of the rest of the 145-pounders. All right. The problem is parity. We'd already seen that match. And at the time, allegedly, that Yair was told this, a lot needed to happen to get it to Yair and Volk, and a lot that was unlikely to happen to get it to Yair and Volk. So, how much do we want to hold to that? How much are we going to hold to that? I don't have the answer to that question. I'm just sharing for you as it pertains to Yair. That is the big question. All right. So now we're going to go to Movsar Evloev. Now, Movsar is awesome. He's 19-0. If I'm wrong, he's 19-1. But I believe it's 19-0. A problem that Movsar has is in his very last fight, he lost to Aljo. Now, the judges gave him the decision, so he still gets to maintain that 19-0, but it's a little bit of a problem. Losing a fight and winning a decision generally doesn't get somebody a title fight. Losing a fight that you were gifted a decision on an undercard has never given somebody a title fight. I don't want to give Movsar a hard time. A very tough guy. And he's right up there in contention. Now, he spoke up even after Yair, and Yair spoke up with 40 minutes to go. All right, fine. But he still spoke up. And then you have Gene Silva. Now, Mosvar put out a tweet, as a matter of fact, and I just didn't understand it. I even responded to his tweet to say, what are you talking about? But he calls for a fight against Volkanovski, IFW, which I assume to mean interim featherweight, IFW, interim featherweight. I assumed. But Volk doesn't have an interim title. He has an undisputed title, which is why I was confused, which is why I asked. I got an assortment of answers from fans, none of which are from him. But one of the fans told me it stands for International Fight Weekend, he thinks. That makes sense to me. That actually makes a level of sense to me. And Volk has fought International Fight Weekends before, and the dates from where we are now to International Fight Weekend matches up. So I like that. I like very much that this gentleman with an amazing record, who's coming off a win over a world champion, whether it was an undercard and gifted or not, I like that he has an idea that involves a location. And then we hear from Silva. And Silva has some other advantages. He is red hot right now. He was on a main card at a sold-out arena, watched by the commander-in-chief, if you want to get right down to it. Like Silva is in a very good spot. If I was to ask a typical fight fan, do you know this person? Throw your hand up. 7-1 would throw their hand up over Jon Silva versus the field. But the rankings don't support that. So what do? There was talk as recently as last week that this gentleman, Movsar Evloev, was going to be taking on Aaron Pico. There was talk. There was a press conference that Mozarv was brought to, and so was Pico. And we were all that watched it led to believe that they were at the same table doing the same press conference because they were going to fight. But we were told when we left the arena Saturday night, what turned out to be very early Sunday morning, that those two are not fighting. That was just a dual media appearance. I don't know how you get there. That's what we were told. I, in fact, argued it and said, no, they faced off. In our industry, that means they're fighting. And I was corrected yet again there's no papers in place, no contract signed, and that was a dual media appearance. I am not familiar with that term. I was taught this at roughly 3 a.m. on Sunday morning, but I'm bringing it to you so that you understand that Mosvar is eligible. His hands are not tied up with Pico. That is not a truth. So you have Mosvar, who's calling for the fight and he would like it IFW. Somebody on Twitter says stands for International Fight Weekend. He's being met in the media by Jon Silva, who's red hot right now. And both of them are behind in the ranking to Yair Rodriguez, but Yair's already had that shot, and I'm just wondering what you would like to do. In the end, it doesn't matter. You can match them up any way I just said. You could have Volk fight all three of them. It's not going to be a main event. It's coming down the card. It's not going to be a press conference where they're going to get the most questions. It's not going to be a weigh-in where the loudest reception goes to. They deserve none of those things. As a division, the